Hey guys, I'm Fibin Shahul and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how you can create your own 3D text intro in After Effects. So without any further ado, let's get started. The first thing that we need to do is to open up After Effects and create a new composition. I'm going to name it 3D text intro. So after creating a new composition, we need to create a new solid. You can choose whatever color you want. I'm going to choose an orange color, but just remember this is only temporary. You can change the colors of anything at any time. Now select the type tool and type any text that you want. Now scale the text up to your choice and you can align the text to the center with the help of the align option. Now I'm going to give my text some color and I'm going to remove the stroke if there is any. Go to the Effects and Presets tab and type Text Bounce. Drag and drop it to our text layer. And you can make some teeny weeny adjustments. This looks good. Now again go to the Effects and Presets tab and type Zoom Away. Drag and drop it to our text layer and you can make again some teeny weeny adjustments. But remember, you need to take the keyframes and invert them, just like this. If you're not able to see the keyframes, you can select the text layer and press U on your keyboard. Now you can play your video again and again and make some adjustments of your choice. This looks good, so let me go ahead and pre-compose this layer. Select the pre-composed layer and press D on your keyboard. This will duplicate the layer. Now again go to the FX Presets tab and type CC Radial Blur. Drag and drop the CC Radial Blur to the second layer. Change the CC Radial Blur type from Scratch to Fading Zoom. And decrease the amount of the CC Radial Blur. Just like this. Go to the Effects and Presets tab and type Curves. Drag and drop it below the CC Radial Fast Blur. Change the channels to Alpha and press at the bottom of the graph and pull that point to the top of the graph. That will create this awesome 3D extrude effect. So now we should change the extrude's color to a darker one. So go again to the Effects and Presets tab and type Fill. Drag and drop the fill beneath the curves and change the color to whatever you want. Now you can increase or decrease the amount of the extrude, and you can also change the center of the extrude so that you can make it extrude to the bottom or to the top. Now we need to create a stroke for our text. So select the layer beneath the main text layer and duplicate it. Now change the CC Radial Fast Blur amount to about +1 or +2 and change the color to whatever you want. Now duplicate the second text layer again and now decrease the extrude amount and go to the fill layer and make the color a bit dark. This will create a lot of depth to our text. Now I'm going to decrease the extrude of both the layers to make it look a bit better. I feel like the colors are too dull, so let's change it. Now let's pre-compose all the text layers and go ahead. Now something's missing, right? We need to create a shadow. So let's select the pre-composed layer and duplicate it. Select the duplicated layer and make it a 3D layer. If you aren't able to see the 3D layer turning thing, then you can press the toggle switches / modes at the bottom of the screen and it'll pop up right there. Press R on your keyboard and change the X rotation to whatever you want. Make some slight adjustments again until it's perfectly aligned. That's good right there. Now again go to the Effects and Presets tab and type Fill. Drag and drop the fill effect to the second pre-composed layer and select a black fill. We have created a shadow, but it's too harsh. So again go to the Effects and Presets tab and type CC Radial Blur. Now we need to select the CC Radial Blur from the Effects and Presets tab and drag and drop it to below the fill layer. So now we need to play with the settings, but I think centered zoom and an amount of 124 to 126 is the best. But the thing that matters the most is where you place the center. This looks great, but I think the shadow is too dark. So let's change the color to something a bit more light. This is perfect. Yet again, I feel like the colors are not that good, so I'm going to change the colors again. After I am satisfied with the colors of my text, I am going to change the purple solid to a gradient. To do that, right-click on the purple solid and choose Layer Styles. From Layer Styles, you can choose whatever you want, but now we are looking at Gradient Overlay. At the beginning, you will see a pretty lame black and white gradient, but go to the properties of the solid and select Edit Gradient. Now again, you can choose whatever color you want. Just remember to trim the edges of your video so that while rendering, it won't take too much time. That looks pretty cool. Now we need to create a zoom effect. For that, right click on that little box where you see all your layers and choose New Null Object. After creating the null object, select all the layers except the null object and click on that little spiraling thing, also called the parent and link, and drag and drop that line to the null object. After doing that, click on the null object and press S on your keyboard. Press on that little stopwatch and create a keyframe. Go to the very end of the video and create another keyframe by increasing the scale. Now let's create a gradient for the text. Double click on the pre-composed layer. Now right click on the main text layer, go to Layer Styles and Gradient Overlay. You can use the same steps just like how you had created a gradient for the background. This looks amazing, but I feel like the background needs to be a bit more bright, so let's change that too. After that, to add detail to the background, let's go to the Effects and Presets tab and type Blinds. Then select on Venetian Blinds, I don't know how to pronounce that, I think it's Venetian Blinds, and drag and drop to the purple solid. Now decrease the transition completion and change the angle of the Venetian blinds. Now duplicate the solid layer and I'm going to edit the gradient and invert the gradient to create this cool look. Now let's add a shadow behind the text. So go to the pre-composed top layer, right click on it, Layer Styles, drop shadow and increase the size of the shadow and decrease the opacity of the shadow. export the audio in Adobe Media Encoder or in After Effects itself. And it should look like this.